What is going on, guys? My name is John Armstrong, and today I will be showing you my Thrustmaster force feedback settings for Dirt Rally 2.0. So yeah, stick around. You don't want to miss this. Hopefully I'll be able to make you faster by the end of this video. So don't go anywhere. Guys, first things first, we're going to go into the Thrustmaster settings on desktop. You'll find that if you hit the Windows button, scroll down to T, which is here. Click on this. You have to install this if you haven't already. You can download the control panel drivers from the Thrustmaster website. I will include a link in the description for that. And then we want to go into the servo. So I've got the TS-XW Racer. We click in there, go to properties. So you can see I run quite a low degree of rotation. I just feel like it's more responsive to what a real rally car would be. Obviously, if you're driving rear-wheel drive cars, you're going to want to bump that up to probably 400 or 500 degrees. That'll be more manageable for some of the more historic cars. But for the modern R5, R2, I go with 290. Next thing's going into the gain settings, and it's pretty simple, guys. I've got everything at 100, so we're getting maximum force coming from the servo. We know that we're getting everything we can from the Thrustmaster product, so that's pretty simple. Next we will hop into the game, and I'll show you the in-game settings. So once you are in game, you want to go across to options. We're going to go to input, and first of all, you want to always make sure that you have calibrated your device, so I'll show you how to do that. You just go into the calibrating settings once you've hovered over your device, and you turn full lock and press next. Then you want to go to 90 degrees, and if you know what you've set it up in the profiler, you just go to that value, which is 290 for us, and we go to next again. Then you want to just do your pedals, make sure they're all calibrated, and that's the calibration done. You know that everything is perfectly aligned. And then to do the force feedback settings, we'll go in to the TS-XW Racer, and then you can see in advanced settings I've left all this completely standard. You can change the steering linearity, saturations, but you don't really want to change dead zones or saturations that much. As you can see, I've got a little bit on the clutch. I could probably take that out because I've already got a bit of dead zone in the clutch profiler, so I'm just going to take that out anyway. So the Thrustmaster profiler for the new TLCM pedals, I already have a dead zone, so I don't need to have that in there. So yeah, all that's, I don't touch that. You can mess around with these things if you want, but I leave it the way it is. So into vibration and feedback, this is the very important part. So self-aligning torque, I have at 50. So that's the the feeling when you go sideways and the steering wheel is coming back to center. It's how strong that force is. If that's too high, it's going to feel very much like the car is trying to drive you. So that's why I have it at 50. It's a good little midway point to have that. Wheel friction I have quite low because that's the force and friction on any movement. So if you have that too high, you're going to struggle to go from side to side very quickly. I like to have that low so that I can go from side to side quickly, which you need to do in rallying because you're going from oversteer to turn it into the next corner, so you don't want too much force there. Then tire friction, that's the friction you feel of the tire on the road, so you want to feel what the tire is doing. Obviously, you don't want this too high, so I have that at 50 as well. Then suspension, that's the vibration and forces you feel as you're going over jumps or bumps, and I have that at 20. I don't like that being too high again, because if it's too high and you go over a bumpy section, it can make you slower because the car is trying to drive you through the force feedback where you're not driving the car. So if we have it at 20, we can have a bit more influence on what we're doing. Then collision, this is just if you hit something, you clip bank, you go a little bit too wide, you clip bank with the rear, you're going to feel that through the steering wheel. So I keep that quite low as well. Then soft lock, don't really worry about that too much. Leave that standard. And steer and center force, that's just if you reset from, you crash, you reset to the stage, it goes back to the center automatically. So that's just how forceful that does that. And yeah, that's the settings, guys. So guys, that's my settings for Dirt Rally 2.0 Thrustmaster force feedback settings. I hope you found this video insightful, helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And make sure to check out my other content. A few things just to keep in mind is I've turned the Thrustmaster profiler settings on the desktop up to 100%, so that's why the in-game settings may seem a little bit low, but that's just something to keep in mind. Also, degrees rotation is quite low of what I'm using at the minute. That's just because I like to have good responsiveness from the car whenever I'm driving. So yeah, it's quite low, but I would recommend going a little bit higher. Real rally cars use about 540. You can maybe try and mess around with the linearity settings to use 540 and have a bit more responsiveness in the center. Maybe that's something that I can try as well, but at the moment that's just what I use. And like I said, if you're using more historic cars, rear-wheel drive cars like the Mark II Escort, it's gonna go sideways quite a lot, so you're gonna want more rotation so you can counter steer and balance the car. If you've got a bigger window to work with, it's usually better because you can balance it in the middle easier. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next one.